Welcome back, trainers, and in this video we're going to be going over caps and limitations that could potentially put your account at risk in Pokemon Go. Alright, what are we talking about? Well, things like hitting too many Pokestops in a particular time, catching too many Pokemon, doing too many rocket grunts, things like that. Those particular things can actually give you a kind of a cooldown within your account. I'm not going to say that it's going to get you banned or have your account terminated, but if continuously hit, you will probably get hit with longer violations, longer cooldown times in which you are not going to be able to particularly play the game in the way it was intended. I'm talking about, say you hit a catch limit, for instance. But first, let me slow down a second here. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's having a fantastic day. It's a nice rainy day outside. I am going to fire up the Sega. I'm talking about the old Genesis. I have newer games that have been made in present day that are really fun, so I'm going to do that later. But what am I actually talking about here? Well, these are caps for particular things so that it could potentially detect somebody who is cheating. And the reason why Niantic has implemented these things to begin with in Pokemon Go is particularly for spoofers. Okay, so we've discussed on this channel that I do not have a problem with spoofers. I did back in the day. It was more so the bots. But nowadays, I really could care less if you're spoofing and or teleporting and finding shundos all day. It's no sweat off my back. I don't care whatsoever. But a lot of people do care, and that's perfectly fine. All right, you know, the more things you stress about, the more it's just going to be in your mind. Just let it go. You can have a concern. But anyways, Niantic has implemented these things within the games too, so that they can detect them and as well as find these people that are exploiting the game and, well, simply put, cheating. So then the rest of us have to potentially burden this as well, who are legit players. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, well, I mean, it's a lot of stuff to encounter and or catch before you actually get these caps. Definitely. So the catch cap is there. If you catch too many Pokemon, you will essentially not be able to catch any more Pokemon for a particular cooldown time. We're talking about this for Pokestops as well. Now, they also do have other things as well, like hitting 160 grunts. Beating 160 grunts within a certain time period will actually kind of slow down your account to some degree. And with the upcoming rocket takeover, it's a little bit concerning. People do have this concern. A few people did make this comment, and so I am here right now making this video. So what are we supposed to do? Play less? I mean, look, these caps are extreme, all right? These catch caps, these spin caps, they're definitely way up on the list for you to really have to be out there grinding quite a bit to actually reach these things, these limitations, right? All right, so let's talk about the catch limit per day. What is that going to be? Well, there was a couple of things. Some of them were older. The older catch limit looked like somewhere around 7,000, but it's looking like the newer catch limit per 24 hours is going to be 4,800. All right, so 4,800 Pokemon caught in a 24-hour period. If you exceed that threshold, you are not going to be able to catch Pokemon until your duration of the cooldown is over. It's quite a bit of Pokemon to catch. 4,800. I don't know about that one. Now, I totally think that people can do that, but I do understand why they do have these limitations, because if you do not put them here, people will always exploit it. People will always cheat. They're going to go bananas and just go crazy with their spoofing tools that they do have, right? Again, I'm not taking a shot. I'm just saying it's the facts. Moving it on to the spins per day. All right, so it looks like 1,200 spins in 24 hours. So you can do 1,200 spins in a 24-hour period before your account will see some sort of an effect on it. That is going to give you some sort of a cooldown, okay? So there are these things to consider, okay? Is this a bad thing? I mean, 1,200 Pokestops spun in a 24-hour period. Are you going to really do that? Well, depends. If you're in a really big city and everything's clustered together and your Go Plus is really putting in the work, and maybe say you turn off catching Pokemon and you only turn it on to spin stops, that could definitely be a possibility if you are constantly moving around and spinning the new stops. And I'm talking about a metropolitan area. you know, one of the biggest places in the world to play Pokestops on top of Pokestops. I keep hearing about these cell blocks. Within the limit, you have to have a Pokestop here and there, here and then I look and I see these bigger cities, and there's literally Pokestops on top of Pokestops and gyms on top of gyms. And then the people are like, well, some of those are sponsored. That's sponsored. It's like, whatever. But then at the same time, I have to have a Pokestop freaking half a mile apart from each other. Otherwise, I don't get accepted. So you do have that too. And then again, going to the Rocket Grunts, you are going to have that limit of 160. So do you think you can hit 160 grunts in a day? Absolutely. That's not hard, really. If you're like starting in the morning and you're out all day on a mission to grind the hell out of Pokestops and get these grunts and find new shadows and find a good IV, it's definitely within the realm of possibility for a normal player to do this. Okay, for sure. And then you'll get capped, and then your account is going to have, you know, it's not going to be functioning in the way that it should otherwise before getting this cooldown. I just wanted to bring this to your attention here. It's nothing to sound the alarms about because these limits are very high, okay? The majority of us, 99% of us, are not going to be hitting these cap limits, even in our hardest grind days, okay? It's just not going to happen, right? Most of us just are not going to hit that. We're perfectly fine. But when it does come down to the grunts, though, now personally, I'm not going to do 100 and no freaking 60 grunts in a single day. So again, I don't have anything to worry about that. Not that I can't even do that here. Well, I live in Alaska. Even if I wanted to, I don't think I possibly physically could do that because we're so limited on what we do have. Although it is growing every day. Shout out to the community too that are putting up new Pokestops as well as gyms. And new locations. I see them popping up every other week, which is very nice to see. Okay, everything's growing here. But I just wanted to let you know, the game does have a few limitations in the back end that you should be potentially worried about. Now, this is not like, oh man, look at Niantic. These people are, oh my gosh, screw them. They keep screwing us over. At the end of the day, for this one, you know, technically, they're just trying to throw the hammer down to make sure that people do not take advantage of this game. Because if there was no catch limit, right? Let's just say there's no catch limit. Spoofers can go around auto-catching all day. And even if they find like a really good nest for a Pokemon that hands out extra Stardust during a Stardust event, even better for them. But let's just say, oh, that's not there. And they're just catching constantly. They just auto-catch. They have it on auto-catch and it's just going to go. Their Stardust can go just to the moon. Okay, it would be ridiculous. But Niantic did put in these limitations so that at least we have a fighting chance. Not like this game really, I mean, there's definitely competition, and if you play normally, then you should be fine. But if a spoofer is out here collecting as much Stardust as possible, it's not like, you know, they have the biggest advantage. They do have that Stardust, but a normal grinder who's out here all the time will have not as much as them, obviously, but enough to power up the Pokemon that they need to do what they need to do in PvP. All right, it's not like you need, you know, tens of millions of Stardust. Okay, it's just not the way it goes. Over time, accumulated powered up Pokemon, sure, but at the end of the day, you'll be fine. The only thing a spoofer will have over you when it comes down to these things is simply probably more items, which I really don't have a problem with items. 100% IV Pokemon and good IV Shadow Pokemon. And these things are only going to go against you if you're battling them in Go Battle League. That's it. And that's another reason why Go Battle League is garbage, okay? Because of these cheating people, right? I'm not just talking about people spoofing to find the best IVs. I'm talking about people that are using the Discord cheat and such like that, right? But that's down a different alley and I don't even want to go there. Anyways, folks, limitations, keep them in mind. Nothing too crazy to worry about, but they are there behind the scenes. Anyways, if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. Just thought I'd talk about something random today, and I hope you did enjoy it. If you can give it a thumbs up, that'd be much appreciated. And I'll catch you all next time. Take care.